In sunny Florida for the 60 minutes of Sebring. I am Tyler Newitt, joined as always in the commentary booth by my good friend Alex Skinner, and working the cameras and doing everything that you don't see behind the scenes as usual is our favorite Italian, Marco Barbanera. So Alex, it all comes down to this after a season of pretty much domination by Rob Hubrex. He comes into the finale as the championship leader, but he is going to face a challenge that these drivers have not faced so far this season, and that is a full hour-long endurance race. It's going to feature pit stops. It features quite a few new drivers, which is exciting. So we've got a pretty sizable field. It is going to be an all-out fistfight. The only man who can really challenge Rob out there today is, of course, Kenny Schmid, who has had some success in toppling the the dynasty that Rob has put together out there in the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series. But he is going to have some pretty big success and see Rob fall into some bad luck.
Well, I mean, if you want a championship finale that was going to go all the way and have probably what is one of the toughest races for Hubrex and Schmid, well, you bring it to Sebring, you make it an hour long, and you go, hey, how many of you guys would like to come and race for the first time this season? And, well, seems that everyone said yes. So it's not going to be an easy race by any means for Kenny or Rob. But, of course, it's an hour race. Anything can happen. And Tyler, I think, you know, there is a very good chance that we could see a very big upset today.
It's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. We have had one other longer race outside of the sprint race formats. That was at Road Atlanta. That was, of course, won by Rob Hubrex. But we definitely saw some pace, and we definitely saw a lot of action over the course of that race. And it was with a considerably smaller field. The new drivers in tonight are representing the I just lost it. Yes, sorry. The Rocky Mountain Solo SCCA Autocross. So we're very glad to have them joining our regulars from the Colorado Karting Tour. And it is going to be quite the show for you tonight. We've just got a little bit. No, excuse me. We have finished practice, haven't we? We are on to qualifying. It is still the usual 2 laps to set your best time. Drivers have a bit longer to do it since the lap around Sebring is around about 2 minutes. They're going to need quite a bit of time to set these laps. They've got 10 minutes to do it. We are now on board with Rob Hubrex, the aforementioned championship leader, as he heads through turn 1 and into the infield portion of Sebring International Raceway. And he is he has been somewhat of a dominant force here, although that has faded just a little bit in recent weeks. He hasn't quite had the form he had at the beginning of the season, but he does hold a strong championship lead. He sits atop the standings with 396 points compared to Kenny Schmid's 357 and Jeremy Davis's 309. So with 150 points on offer, this is a double points event. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all shakes out, as Rob is setting quite a few purple sectors in his qualifying lap. I think we're going to see something mighty quick, as we often do from Rob Hubrex. Now we're back to Rob. Everybody pretty much on track. Actually, I see I think we have 23 drivers out there tonight, and they are all setting their lap times now. So another interesting story, Alex. We've had some trouble in recent weeks knowing whether it was Vaughn Weber or Mike Weber in the car because they do share a sim rig. Of course, Mike the dad and Vaughn the son in that tandem. But well, we may still have trouble knowing who is in the car at any given time, but they are going to split this race in half and treat it like a true endurance race. So one of them will start it, and then they're going to do a live driver swap, and the other will get in. So that should be pretty interesting, shouldn't it?
Well, yeah, at least we won't have to worry about which one's racing. We know that they're both racing at some point, so it'll be interesting. And at least I think we might just have to revert to saying, and it's a Weber in the car. We're not sure which one, but you can guess at home. It'd be a good little guessing game, actually, which Weber's in the car at one point.
Just starting to see those times roll in, and guess who? It is Rob Hubrex atop the board by almost half a second over Kenny Schmid. Third place is Mike and/or Vaughn Weber. Well, probably not and. It's either or, I would have to say. It's pretty difficult. Maybe Mike's working the... perhaps Mike is working the pedals, and yeah, Vaughn is working the steering wheel. But I think one of them will be behind the wheel to start. Cadence Presley is slotted into 4th place after his first lap. Brian Bruzzi, who's been quick in recent weeks, he will slot provisionally into 5th place. Then it's a new driver to the series, Dave Santel, so presumably one of those Rocky Mountain SCCA guys showing up and setting a quick lap time. He's about a second and a 10th off of Rob Hubrex, but around the 2+ minute lap at Sebring. That's really not all that much in these cars, is it?
Oh, not really, not at all. It feels a lot larger than it actually probably is. And of course, with the mistakes and the incidents we have seen in previous rounds at circuits that are notably wider than this one, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see if any of those guys, the guys from the SS, you're going to have to keep saying this one for me, Tyler, because I'm going to get tongue twisted with this every single time I attempt it. But these new guys coming in, I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe finish at the sharp end today.
It's certainly not out of the realm of the possibilities. We have seen drivers, CKT members, join later in the season and show some serious pace, including running up towards the front of the field. So it's definitely a chance. As we see Kenny Schmid coming around, completing his 2nd lap. There is Daniel Fellows. He has been pretty quick here these last couple weeks. He is one of those drivers who showed up a bit later in the season, and he jumps to 3rd place. So definitely still showing some of that pace. Rob Hubrex maintains the top spot. Kenny Schmid holds on to 2nd for the moment. Rob's laps are done. Kenny is still out on track, but he has completed his 2 laps, and now he resets to the pit lane. So just waiting on a few more drivers to finish their lap times. 18 have set times so far. A few drivers are on track but haven't set times yet, whether because they got a off-track or other incident point on their lap, or they just got a bit of a late start to qualifying. Here's one of those, Suraj Pradhan, and he goes 17th quickest. This is Zach Peterson. He is currently sitting 15th, now completing his 2nd lap. Also on track, but not yet set a time. We have Mark Sherman and Roman Bykov, although Roman Bykov has completed his 2 laps, so he is not going to set a time, which means he's going to be starting a bit further back than he is probably used to. He's been a series regular. I believe he's been here for every round so far, so
I
going
think
to be
every
tough for
race
Roman Bike.
one, Tyler. I think, from what I remember, I don't remember him being at Road Atlanta, but I could be wrong.
Gotcha. So certainly, though, he has been a part of the series from the start. So having to come from somewhere around 21st, 22nd on the grid is going to be a new challenge for him. We haven't really seen these numbers yet in the Colorado Karting Tour, but it is great to have everybody here for the final round. Here is John Collins, just completing his second qualifying lap. We'll see if he can improve from 19th. Doesn't look like he does. He does improve his time by about 3 seconds, but still definitely finding his footing here as he is a bit of a ways off of our provisional pole sitter, Rob Hurex. That is quite the name entered into the SDK. Man Cave Mike or Cody Berggren. I'm going to probably stick with Cody Berggren for now for Man Cave Racing.
Driver.
Yes. He has yet to set a lap time, and given he just went off track there, don't think this one is going to count, and I believe this is his second lap. So likely won't see him set a lap time, but still out on track and completing the lap. Good to get practice in anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, any lap is a good lap as long as you're getting, some sort of information on the track state and everything like that. Plenty of people I know, that did qualifying laps, but just, do that lap anyway because it just helps you learn even a little something about the car. So, these guys that you do see bin those laps and then just carry on, they're just learning.
Here is Brandon Walker, one of the last few cars out on track. He has not set a lap time yet, but he has also not completed a lap yet. So he's only got a little bit of time to do it, so he's really only going to get this lap in. We'll have to see if he jumps up the leaderboard at all.
It's nice to see how close the field actually is, especially in terms of the guys in the top 10, covered by just under 2 seconds, and then the top 5 under a second. So these guys really getting it together towards the end of the season to give us a really, really close qualifying.
Absolutely. It's going to be, for sure, a tight uh, group here, as it usually is. I mean, we normally see it kind of form off into those battle packs that you get, but would expect a pretty competitive race out there today, certainly with the addition of quite a few new drivers. So, believe qualifying is done. We should have your grid. And here it is for the 60 minutes of Sebring. Rob Hubrex, your pole sitter, looking to secure that championship, and so far doing everything he needs to do, setting the quickest time in qualifying. Kenny Schmid, his championship rival, also doing the best that he can to remove Rob from the top of the pile. He will start in second place. Daniel Fellows will line up in third ahead of Dave Santel. Brian Brutzi will start in fifth ahead of Vaughn or Mike Weber. We don't know which one is starting or finishing. We'll probably get that information after the race, but one of them is in the car at the moment. Cadence Presley will roll off in seventh. Jim McKendry in eighth. Michael Herring, another new driver to the series, will start in ninth. Seth Lee, same story, another new driver, will start in 10th. Daniel Lopez will start in 11th ahead of Rob Holubar. In 13th is Jeremy Davis, third place in the championship. He's going to need to do quite a bit better than 13th if he's going to pull off the major upset against Rob and Kenny. Starting 14th will be Armand Gevorkian. Zach Peterson starts in 15th. Ezra Kelderman will start 16th. Suraj Pradhan will start in 17th. Mike James in 18th. John Collins starts 19th. Roman Bykov in 20th. Man Cave Berggren will start in 21st. Brandon Walker 22nd. And Mark Sherman will start in 23rd. So we've got the full pace lap here at Sebring. This is going to take a little bit. So while we are waiting for that, just want to read a couple of messages for you from our friends at Colorado Karting Tour. Firstly, the Colorado Karting Tour is having their membership registration and track day March 21st at IMI Motorsports Complex. More information can be found at coloradokartingtour.com. And in addition, the Colorado Karting Tour is still looking for race day track workers. The positions remaining open are the head flagger and corner workers. So if you, oops, where did it go? If you are interested in one of those positions, workers will be paid for their time and travel to each event. Please contact CKT for more details. Contact information, once again, is at coloradokartingtour.com/contact. And I'm seeing a couple of cars in the pits. Now, what's happened here?
I have a feeling I saw a couple cars have a bit of an incident on the formation lap. One, I think, potentially just going over the curb. I'm not too sure what's going on here, but I think contact in the left rear, because that suspension looked pretty,
Yeah,
pretty
that was
damaged, to say the
the
least.
the Webbers. I don't know if they got hit. Well, we'll have to see another angle there, but yeah, just reset to the pits, and there's two other cars that are in there with them. So here's the overhead shot of Weber.
Oh no.
Ooh,
Net
dear.
code suspension damage. Oh no.
Yeah, that's tough. And now what's happened to Siraj Pradhan as well? Ooh,
Oh,
that's Roman
similar
Baikov.
issue.
Yeah. So trouble already on the pace laps for a number of drivers. I'm going to assume it was Brandon Walker who hit the Weber car. No, it wasn't. That's a different looking car. Ah, okay. So gotcha. So Brandon Walker will be starting from the pits. It's Weber and Pradhan who have had to reset after trouble on the pace lap. I'm not sure, and I don't know if you know, if they reset to the pits before the race starts. Do you know if their cars get repaired?
Yeah, they will do. The car will get repaired, but they will be a long, long way down, because I think they've got to wait for the field to go by. I'm not too. I haven't done a hit start on iRacing for, God, a long, long time.
Yeah, it's timed so that the field will get through before they are released from pit lane. Oh, and there's more
Oh no.
trouble. Oh dear. That is John Collins. Goodness. All sorts of things going on the pace lap here at Sebring.
Welcome to Sebring.
That one, I wasn't sure, but it kind of looked like it was on his own. He just lost it warming up the tires potentially. Might have had help, but it was tough to see. But anyway, we are rounding Sunset Bend, and we are going to get the green flag in just a moment here. It'll be Rob Hubrex leading the field into turn number 1, and he is gone already, and Kenny Schmid did not get a good jump. He gets jumped quickly by Daniel Fellows, and they are 4 or 5 wide for second place, and oh no! Big trouble right at the start.
That's McKendry caught up, Lee's caught up, Gavorkin's caught up, Bergen, James, Herring. There's even more cars caught up here. Kenny Schmid and Brutzi are together as well. Oh
Yeah.
dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, now it was Kenny Schmid who was 3 or 4 wide and got into the. Oh man, we're having more trouble already.
Kenny Schmid, that's Schmid.
That was Schmid. Brutzi. Cadence Presley has had trouble. My goodness. So we have
God, what is going on here?
more than half the field in the pit lane.
Those guys
before
that
the
actually,
conclusion
you
of the
know,
first
had
lap.
their accident on the formation lap don't look so stupid now. They've actually gotten out of the pits higher than where they would have started.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? So, yeah, Weber,
my.
Pradhan, and Collins are probably a bit glad that they avoided that mess. I have to believe.
Rob Hollowell's disconnected as well. He's gone. He's left, which is a shame for him. But, oh my God.
It was quite a dramatic start there. They were 4 wide on the front stretch at Sebring, and I hate to say I saw it coming, but it certainly, it all funnels down into that first corner, and you really got the sense that that was not going to last, especially with the issues we saw on the pace laps. So it was tough to see. I didn't catch who it was, as we have another driver around. That's Sherman. I didn't catch who it was that Schmid knocked into that kind of triggered all that. It was the Subaru liveried, old Subaru Rally livery on that car, but I didn't see which driver it was. It was somebody who was starting up towards the front, so perhaps Santel, I think. We'll get a replay.
We'll get a replay of it here. I'm gonna have a look as well on my
So this is on board with Dave Santel.
David
Definitely him.
Santel.
Yeah. So Kenny Schmid got a bad jump. Bruzzi got a great one, as did Fellows. So they were 4 or 5 wide here, and Bruzzi just brushed up a little bit into Schmid, who moved over into Santel, and the car on the outside had nowhere to go. That was just
nothing intentional, just a bit of clumsiness, I think, from everyone.
Yeah. Now what's happened? This is the incident we saw later between Kenny Schmid and Brian Bruzzi. They were 2 wide. Oh, Bruzzi got on the curbing and lit up the tires and just spun into Kenny Schmid, who was the innocent party there. That's tough, and all but ends Kenny Schmid's championship chances. Out front, meanwhile, it's Rob Hubrex with Daniel Fellows about 2.5 seconds, a little bit less behind. Then it's a pretty substantial gap to Jeremy Davis. So Davis almost had himself sitting pretty for a shot at the championship if Rob Hubrex had been caught up in that initial incident.
Don't say never say never. There's still a chance.
There's still, unbelievably, there's still 57 minutes of this race to go. So as we see Walker having some trouble there, he just runs wide into the hairpin. That's easily done. Just missed his braking point a little bit, presumably. Not sure who that is in behind him. We are still waiting. So because these cars had to reset and tow back from just in front of the pit lane, I think it's going to be an exceptionally long tow for these guys who are just now leaving pit lane after taking their faster pairs. So it's really going to set them out of this race a bit, which is tough for all of these guys who were really, I'm sure, hoping to have a good hour of racing. They're starting off on the wrong foot, but one driver who is not is Rob Hubrex. He continues to lead this race ahead of Daniel Fellows. Here are, that is Armand Gavorkian, and that is Jeremy Davis. So a good shot there of Davis, who sits in 3rd place. He's got Roman Bykov chasing him down and looking to make the move to the outside. Davis defending to the inside as they head into turn number 1. Not impossible to make it stick around the outside, and Bykov has done it. So Davis seemed like he let him have it there. Don't know if Davis is nursing some damage from one of those earlier wrecks, or he is just taking it easy, which is understandable in a 60-minute race, even though he seems to be the only one doing it. That's Cadence Presley having more trouble. So Cadence, who was caught up in those earlier incidents, has had himself a spin. Didn't look like he had any further damage. Hopefully he can get back going. There is Kenny Schmid ahead of Collins. So Schmid, the first of the cars off pit road, but at a lap down already. He is not in good shape for this race in 10th place. He needed to do, well, he needed to do quite a bit better than that. He needed Rob Hubrex to have some trouble, and unfortunately it was him who ran into trouble early on here.
Yeah, indeed, it is a big, big shame. And just thinking, for once, it's not a bad day to be a Jeremy Davis fan. I'm sat here smiling because Jeremy's finally, was on the podium. Meanwhile, it's a spin for Lopez. Just trying to see, that's a spin for Gavorkian as well. So that's going to allow Lopez back through. Ooh,
I think it was Cadence who had the spin. I think it was another spin for Cadence. It looked like his car, and it looked like that time like he might have had some damage. Indeed, it was Cadence
You would
Presley.
be correct.
Yeah.
Marco proving me wrong since round 1.
Oh, just got on the curb. These cars can be quite sensitive to the curbing, and unfortunately for Cadence, it caught him out there. Ooh, and he was all right. He didn't join in the way of Armand Gavorkian there, and Gavorkian got all the way on the grass, which is not friendly to these tires. He's been up his front wing and potentially the rear of that car as well. So that's a shame for Armand. He continues on. Not coming into pit lane. Don't know when exactly the pit lane opens. I heard one of the drivers, I believe it might have been Kenny Schmid, saying that he thinks the cars can go 18 laps on a tank of fuel. So would expect it just over 2 minutes a lap. It's going to be just under 30 laps for the full race today. So would expect the pit window to open somewhere around 10 minutes, maybe a little bit later into the race. Here's Brian Bruzzi. Another one of those cars involved in those early incidents, working his way back through the field. That was him going around John Collins, moving himself up into 11th place. And here we see Sherman and Peterson, two of our new drivers, going at it. This is for 8th place, though they're already about a minute back of Rob Hubrex. And it is Peterson taking the inside line into turn number 1, and Sherman concedes that position. So clearly content to just settle in behind at this early stage of the race. Here's a replay for one of the Webbers and Jeremy Davis. Is this just Webber making the move? Indeed it is. So Webber into the hairpin, gets the move done. Davis seems pretty happy just to ride around at this point. Webber, after his trouble on the pit lane, or on the pace lap rather, is up to 4th place. So a pretty strong start, which was not looking that way before the race went green for Webber. But he finds himself, whichever Webber it is, finds himself up into 4th place. Here is Seth Lee, who has a run down the front stretch on Michael Herring. These are 2 more of our new drivers for today. But he wisely backs off as there's a car exiting pit lane, which can get quite hairy here. The way pit lane rejoins the track at Sebring, it spits you out right where the track narrows, which can lead to some incidents if people aren't, using their situational awareness and keeping track of where everybody is around.
Even if you are, it's still a horrible pit lanes to come out of areas. Even if you are trying to look at where everyone is, especially prominent in the endurance racing, you see a car coming, you're not too sure exactly where it is when you're coming out, and it's easy just to end up sideswiping them by mistake or slowing up too much or being a bit too quick out. So it's one of the harder pit lanes on the calendars of motorsport. But of course, still one of the most fun just to come out of and fly yourself towards turn 2 and potentially end up racing someone who's on their lap. But of course, Herring and Lee both very, very close to each other right now. I think Lee's just essentially sensing a little move in the future.
Yeah, he's been sizing him up, and in a 60-minute race, you don't have to make you have the time to plan out your moves and assess your opponent, see where you might have the chance to get a run on them, as we see a battle a little further back. A couple more of the cars caught in those early incidents are Daniel Lopez and Cadence Presley. And somewhere in there is probably going to be Rob Hubrex, who has lapped up to the 16th place car of Presley. So quite a few cars already a lap down in this one. Presley, Kevorkian, Collins, Berggren, Pradhan, James, Santel, and Holubar. Santel and Holubar have disconnected already, so they will not be continuing on in this one. But James still on track, though 3 laps down. But good to see people continuing on after early trouble. There is Rob Hubrex, your race leader, has led from the start and has recently opened that gap up a bit over Daniel Fellows. I saw it dip down to around 2 seconds, but that has stretched once again to around about 4 seconds now. So Rob putting the pedal to the metal. That lap he put some 7/10 between himself and Fellows. And now Fellows will have to deal with one of the lap cars joining in between himself and Rob Hubrex. So good, easy going, I have to say, for Rob Hubrex up to this point. He does have to deal with a bit of lap traffic, which I'm not sure he expected this early on in the race, but you knew it was going to come in. Ooh, still pushing clearly, though, is Rob Hubrex, dipping a wheel into the dirt there. Did well to hold on to it. That is Herring, who has had some trouble from 14th place. Hopefully he steers clear of our race leader. It looks like he was taking it nice and easy into that hairpin. He'll be seeing the waved yellows there. Herring is having a bit of trouble finding a break in the traffic. Now gets the chance to cut across onto the grass. Ooh, hang on to it. He does, and he gets himself sorted and will rejoin the race, but now 17th out of the 20 cars who are still running. So ground needing to be made up for Michael Herring after that spin, but doesn't look like his car is damaged, so he can continue moving forward.
Yeah, and it also actually allows for Lee to actually get that time that he was looking for earlier. So he's gone up a place, and he's now going to be looking to close in on Jim McKendry. Of course, I've seen McKendry was looking good earlier on, well, and then instantly got caught up in that lap 1 incident debacle. So it'll be interesting to see what McKendry can do, if he can maybe get some time back, because we know he's a very quick driver in his own right. He's always been there or thereabouts through the season, even if he's not had the best of luck. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him a bit further up the order later on. Although, I'm just having a look, and Webber's only 1.5 off a bike off now. I have a feeling that gap's coming down, Tyler.
Right, you are. I just want to say with Jim McKendry, he's been one of those guys this season who, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. He has just been. I feel like he's been caught up in a mess, in somebody else's mess every single race so far. So, unfortunately for Jim, it probably hasn't been all that much fun here, though he has certainly showed flashes of very strong pace at points. That was a big wiggle there. As Webber is rapidly chasing down Bykov. You're absolutely right. And I would not be surprised to see that position change hands in the next, well, few corners at this point. He has really reeled Bykov in, has Webber. Almost a second pulled that lap. And he's well within a second now, so you'd have to believe this position will be belong to the Webber team before much longer.
Well, we will see as he gets the run, heading towards the hairpin. We will see what he decides to do. We'll see what Roman Bykov decides to do as well, because Bykov is a smart man. He doesn't fight fights he knows he's going to lose instantly. He is going to break late. He's going to give the challenge to Webber, but Webber is just going to go, nah, I'll take that. So he goes straight through onto the podium.
There might have been a little nudge there. Bykov, I think, got a better runoff than he anticipated and got right up behind the rear of Webber, but he backed out of it before too much damage could be done. Here is the battle for 7th. That was Walker, Peterson, and a lapped car, I believe, going at it there. Here is Sherman, who has had a spin in turn number 1 with Kenny Schmid coming through. Oh, Kenny keeps it tight and avoids it. And also,
you could see the reactionary, oh God, when he noticed that Kenny Schmid was approaching, just instantly like swerved right in case Kenny was actually running it out wide there. But of course, Kenny Schmid very, very aware of what's going on around him. That's why he's been in that title fight this whole season.
Kenny also having just set the fastest lap of the race by almost a second over what we've seen from anybody else. That was a rapid lap from Kenny, the first driver to dip into the 203s with a 203.99. Here's the pass from Webber on Bykov. Don't think they made contact, but it was pretty close between those two for just a minute there. Here is once again that battle for 7th, and Peterson has gone through on Walker. So Walker, who has been rapidly losing time to Schmid, and I think Walker is one of those newcomers to iRacing. We've seen him for a couple of rounds, I believe. Just hasn't quite had the pace, which is, you know, everybody takes a different amount of time to get their sim racing legs under them. And I think Brandon is just getting that sorted out still.
Yeah, but great to see him here nonetheless. It's great to see all these guys, especially if they are new to iRacing or new to, you know, just racing, sim racing in general. It's great to see the guys here, and hopefully, you know, we do get to see them back through, you know, maybe other events. And, you know, it'd be great to see some of these guys as familiar names to the Winter Series.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a really fantastic series to cover. I've really enjoyed it. And I know our friends at the Colorado Karting Tour have enjoyed putting it on for us and for everybody back home. So hopefully we get the chance to call more of these races in the future. But right now we do still have one more race to finish up. And this is Arman Gevorkian and Michael Herring, who we saw have that spin earlier. Herring trying to make his way back forward. He is all over that rear diffuser of Gevorkian. Tries to go around the outside. That's not going to work through there. But clearly, Herring wants to find a way through, and I have to believe he's going to before too long.
Yeah, he definitely will find a way before too long. And again, I will have to echo what you said, Tyler. It has been amazing to cover this series here. Only request I do have is, could it be a bit earlier? Of course, myself and Marco both being Europeans, you know, obviously.
Oh, no!
Oh, Kenny Schmid, I believe.
Yes, it was. Oh, no!
More and Kenny Schmid in the well, and that is damage for Gevorkian. He's got no front left wheel unless that is just my end, but I'm not.
Yeah, it looked like he just
turned there.
It looked like he just turned into whoever was alongside him. Sherman dropping down the order, but I think it was Michael Herring who received the hit from Kevorkian. I wonder if Sherman was involved with Kenny Schmid, because I thought I saw another car there. Here is a replay of Michael Herring. Ooh, just going for a spin there. That was his spin earlier on. Here is Mark Sherman. Marco just finding the right replay here for us. Here's Mike James. Going wide into Sunset and finding the wall. So this was the car we saw stop there. I assumed it was one of the cars that we saw have contact on the backstretch, but it was not. Now here is Roman Bykov, as Bykov had trouble as well. Yes, he has. He's had a spin. Looked like he was trying to avoid a car that was going slowly on the inside there. So trouble for Bykov. We still don't know what happened to Kenny Schmid, because it's all set off here in the Colorado Karting Tour 60 Minutes of Sebring. Now here's... Oh my goodness.
See what happened here. Oh! Now,
Yeah,
maybe that blinking, because again, we did see him blink. Maybe that was unintentional blink, because I doubt Kevorkian, especially if Kevorkian, would have just turned across like that for no reason.
No, I
seen him there when he, like, you know, respawned or something. Maybe got surprised by a spotter or something. I've no idea, but very, very weird accident. Oh! I thought it was Sherman, because I saw Sherman in the pits as well, but no, Kenny Schmid is well involved. Oh, it's horrible for Kenny.
And that's the second time Kenny has been caught up by a car going wide before the bridge there. So Kenny
didn't have bad luck. He had no luck at all today.
Exactly, and it was actually Berggren, I think we're seeing right here, who ran wide. Yep, just a wheel in the grass, and Kenny had nowhere to go, which is a real shame, because he has already used his fast repair.
That is Kenny Schmid's title fight basically done and done, unless Rob basically falls into the... Hold on a minute, he has, because Schubrex is in the pits. Tyler, Jeremy Davis could be looking good for a championship here.
Yeah.
So, Robbie Brex is disconnected. If this is permanent, we could be looking at Jeremy Davis winning the championship.
So I see 8 drivers having received a received throughput, which is a connection error, including Rob Hubrex.
Oh no.
So something's going on with the server here.
Guys, I don't know, it could be just general internet issues in that pile. I'm not too sure what's going on, because there are a lot of drivers that aren't driving right now. And we currently only have... I'm not even too sure. Oh my god, this is unheard of here for the CKT. But at the moment, it is Vaughan, or it is Weber at the front of the field by 18 seconds over Jeremy Davis, who... Can you remind me what the points gap was, Tyler? Because... Is it enough? Because
well,
again, at this point, both Hubrex isn't going to be classified, and well, with Kenny Schmid still in the pit lane, yes, he's leaving now. He's 11th, but what's that do points wise? I'm actually genuinely confused and intrigued.
Sorry, Alex. I was just trying to listen to what Jeremy was saying there as to what they're going to do for this race. So they are continuing on for the time being. To answer your question, the points from Rob Hubrex and Jeremy Davis was 86, 87 by my math, which is probably wrong, but 87 points from Rob Hubrex to Jeremy Davis, with first place awards 150 points. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, so Hubrex is back on track in 10th place. So has he not lost the lap?
Right, Tyler, do some maths. Work out the points difference. I'll focus on this. Work out the points difference, because this actually could be rather big right now in the championship.
Well, certainly it could. What I'm trying to figure out is how Rob Hubrex managed to disconnect and get back in without losing a lap in this race. That is...
And it's a 9. I wouldn't be so sure yet, Tyler.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is a good point. So,
Alright, meanwhile, on track, as Tyler does some maths, because it's way too early in the morning for me to do mathematics, we've currently got Kelderman, who's just gone past Jeremy Davis. So Jeremy Davis down to third now. He's still about 20 seconds ahead of Walker, so he shouldn't lose that in the coming time soon. Again, we are 22 minutes through, so we are almost halfway through this race, as that is someone around in the background. Not too sure who that is. That's Sherman. But this is going to be interesting, because we are not used to this. Now, this is completely new territory, because with Hubrex in 10th and Kenny Schmid still in the pit lane, he will probably, well, he'll drop very far down the order. Meanwhile, this is Peterson on Walker. Walker in 5th. He must be completely surprised to where he is right now, because he has not been this high at all this season in the Colorado Karting Tour. So great to see him up in the top 5. But Peterson currently in 4th now. And Fellows and Brutzi are together on track as well, just coming through the first sector. And I want to say that is Lee not far down the road behind him in the back of shot either. So Lee could be looking at a top 6, maybe a top 5 if they get up towards where Walker is by the end of this race. But having a look, coming into the hairpin, what's Brutzi going to do? He's going to sit in line, maybe try and get himself a bit further up later on. New fastest lap for Webber of 2:05.175. He's now 22.5 ahead of Kelderman. Davis dropping back 7/10 away from Kelderman now. So hopefully he doesn't lose too much time, but he is gapping Peterson and Walker, so that'll be interesting to see. Roman Bykov is out of this race as well, which means that they will drop down, which puts McKendry into 11. It's just, I'm struggling to comprehend what's going on right now. Kenny Schmid is still... Oh my god, Cadence Presley is going to jump up to 18th, so Kenny Schmid is going to be 9th. This is, yeah, my brain, Tyler.
Yeah, so if the points values I'm looking at are correct, Rob would basically need to finish in last for Jeremy to have any chance, and that would require Jeremy winning. Even then, I think he only just barely does it. So pretty sure that Jeremy Davis is not in contention for this title fight.
Realistically, no. Mathematically, yes. It's the Daniel Ricciardo 2014 situation. You want him to win it, but realistically, it's not going to happen.
No, I don't think so. But he does have a very good chance of a podium here with a substantial gap over Peterson and Walker in 4th and 5th. He is also right behind Kelderman for 2nd. I'm sure you probably just went through all of this while I was doing math, so apologies for everyone listening if I am repeating everything you just heard. But there is Sherman making his way back out. Kenny Schmid still in the pits getting some repairs, so he is not going to finish particularly well in this race, nor is he going to finish ahead of Rob Hubrex, I'd have to believe, unless Rob has even more trouble at this point. So while it was absolutely dramatic seeing our championship leader disappear from the final race, it does look as though he is still in good shape to lock this up. Here is a battle between a couple of drivers who had a disconnect, Kevorkian and Herring, and actually these are the two who had the coming together on the back straight here, so they meet again. I imagine Herring will be giving Kevorkian a pretty wide berth after what happened before, but he would still presumably like to move forward as they're not too far. Oh, that's a spin for Kevorkian, which I'd imagine is good news for Herring, who moves up a spot, and Kevorkian is reset to the pit lane. So Herring now sets his sights on Cadence Presley for 14th place, and Suraj Pradhan, who has moved forward as well from his starting position. So through all that, do we know which Webber is in the car yet? Because they are currently leading the race by a substantial margin.
Yeah, I was about to say, you were asking the wrong person here, Tyler.
After Rob and Daniel's disappearances, we see Mike and/or Von Webber currently leading this race by 25 seconds.
Well,
Now,
technically, it would be correct to say "and" because they are both driving the car at some point, so it is a team effort.
absolutely, it certainly is. We
Maybe
will.
Warren Vork, or maybe Mike. Just put names together.
Yeah, well, we will presumably see pit stops starting soon because these cars can't make it to the end on fuel. Obviously, some of the cars who have had to pit for repairs will be able to make it to the end of the race. What I don't think, I'm not sure about this actually. The cars
No,
who received the
I think
received
everyone
throughput,
will take another stop.
yeah.
Well, everyone except Billy Schmee anyway, 'cause if he does come out of the pits, because at this point he should be able to make it to the end.
Well, we were saying, or somebody was saying earlier, these cars can go 18 laps. We're nearly at halfway in this race, and we are only on lap 14. So, would have to believe the pit window opened a good bit earlier, probably about 20 minutes into this race. So, that disconnect didn't happen that long ago. That if the cars received service when they connected back in, it's very possible that somebody like Rob Hubrex could go to the end of this race without stopping again. The question just remains, did they receive service when they connected back in, I guess, or when they were disconnected, which is, it's possible.
It counts as a tow, does it not?
That's my understanding of it, is that yes, it does count as a tow back to pit lane. So presumably they would have received service, but I just don't know.
My knowledge of iRacing is not extensive enough for that yet.
Yeah,
I've never had that problem.
I have only had that problem actually happen at the very start of a race. Well, that's not true, actually. We had a disconnect in Petit Le Mans, and as far as I know, the car was full of fuel when my teammate took it back out. So I am going to go out on a limb here and say that Rob Hubrex can make it to the end of this race. On our timing software, it does show him as having made a pit stop. It says it was only 10 seconds. I don't know if that's enough time to fuel up these cars. Maybe it is. So who else in that case are we looking at as being able to make it to the end of this race? So Daniel Fellows was another disconnect. His pit lap is listed as lap 9. Gotcha, that's total pit lane time, isn't it? But that's presumably thrown off by...
I'm just thinking, maybe that's just a pro strat. Disconnect, get a fresh car, and then reconnect and win the race.
Well, I'd imagine they've been set back quite a bit time-wise if they did have to take a tow, technically. But if that's the case, then Daniel Fellows may be in pretty good shape because he currently sits in 7th place. He was able to get connected back up just a little bit quicker than Rob Hubrex was. So now I'd imagine the total pit lane time...
it's not much
at
all, but it's more if he can get himself within a reasonable amount of time.
Exactly.
Then a lighter car, well, we could be in for a bit of a fight towards the end.
Yeah, I don't know that Fellows and Rob Hubrex will be challenging for a win, but I would say, 30-second difference, I would say a podium's not out of the question, assuming, this is all making assumptions here because we've not experienced this before, assuming they receive service and can make it to the end of the race, which, of course, is a big assumption. But I guess if you think about it, it's not like they can send the car out in exactly the state it was in. Presumably, it would be functionally a full, tow back, but I don't know. It's all speculation until one of them pits or doesn't. But it does seem like everybody who has not disconnected is going to stretch their tanks as far as it'll take them. The Webbers are showing one pit stop, but that'll be their reset on the pace lap. It's all quite confusing, to be honest, but our timing software is not... it's built for a lot of things, but it's not built for the chaos that we have experienced in this race, unfortunately. So we will have to wait and see how long the Webbers can stretch their car. Here is Walker, who, by virtue of a bit of luck, but also keeping the car clean, has found himself in 5th place. in behind Zach Peterson, who is not too far off the back of. In fact, just a second and a half up the road. There he is. Zach Peterson does have a lap car between the two of them. But Walker in with a chance of overtaking Peterson. And here is Kenny Schmid emerging from the pit lane. Valiantly, of course, but 7 laps off the pace. He will need a few more dramas for Rob Hubrex if he's going to have a chance of the championship. But, of course, good to see Kenny back on track. And he immediately jumps ahead of Roman Bykov, who is out of this race. So that's 1 spot back for Kenny on the long road back to the front of the field.
Yeah, I respect Kenny for at least finishing this race because, you know, at the end of the day, anything is possible, especially in an hour-long race. We've seen it all happen already. So it's good to see that Kenny's willing to continue and at least try and get to the end of this one.
Ooh, there's trouble for the 13 car. That is Peterson, who we saw in the battle with Walker, and there was another car who potentially spun off there trying to avoid Peterson.
It's the 19, which I think, if I remember correctly, the 19 is... God, my brain is failing me again.
John Collins.
There we go.
Ooh, it was a big wiggle in turn 1. And it was John Collins, who I don't think was going to make that corner anyway. Don't know if he got distracted by the yellow flags or what, but he was headed for the grass no matter what. Those a couple of the Rocky Mountain, couple of the Rocky Mountain SCCA drivers. You can tell by the, I don't know what their livery is supposed to be. It looks a bit like a cow to me, but I don't think. Potentially, I don't know that Colorado is known for its cows, but
I mean they better get a move on. I can hear I can hear Tyler just sighing in just disappointment at this point.
That's 3 hours into a 12-hour endurance race humor, not 30 minutes into a 60-minute endurance race humor. But
hey, look, we have to scale it down a bit.
Kelderman is in the pit lane, as is Jeremy Davis. So these are the first of our scheduled, if you will, pit stops, and on lap 17. So a bit early. Presumably, if we think these cars can go 18 laps, these drivers have only done 16, but. Not sure how accurate that information is. As we see Jeremy take his fast repair, it looked like his wing had some damage there. So maybe that's why he was going a bit slower than we would have expected, because he did have a bit of damage on that front wing, but it is all patched up now. Ooh, that's Lee getting very wide. Does a good job to hang on to it.
We have some news. It isn't going to be a double effort in the leading car. It's going to be Vaughn the...
Okay, well, at least now we know which Weber is in the car.
Because according to Mike, he crazy fast.
Well, good to hear. Good to hear from Mike that he is just going to be watching this one. And apologies for not keeping up with the chat, but hope Mike is enjoying the race from the couch.
Although, according to Marco, we are going to need headlights soon.
It
is getting dark out there.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Is that McKendry again?
That is Jim McKendry.
Oh,
yes.
Jim.
Oh, poor Jim McKendry. I tell you what.
As you said, Tyler, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all.
That looked like another incident that was not of his doing at all. And similar to what his buddy Kenny Schmid has had happen, one of the cars just running a bit wide there and spinning. And well, what are you going to do there if you're Jim McKendry? The answer is not much. So shame for Jim. He will reset back to the pit lane. Just seeing now in the chat from the ColoradoCarter.com. That they think the disconnects had to do with the power and internet outages due to the storm in the region. Which is why we're having the race this weekend, and why, and this gives me a great lead-in to our sponsor message from the Colorado Karting Tour, because originally the registration and track day was going to be this weekend, but they have moved it back to next weekend. The Membership registration and track day will be at the IMI Motorsports Complex. And for more information on that, you can go to coloradokartingtour.com. That, of course, in the real world, not the virtual world. And similarly, the Colorado Karting Tour is still looking for some race day track workers, specifically a head flagger and corner workers. So if you are interested in one of those positions, you'll be paid for your time and travel to each event. Please contact the Colorado Karting Tour for more details, and that information is at coloradokartingtour.com/contact. So yeah, it's a bit snowy out in Colorado. I got to tell you, on the other side of the Rockies here in Idaho, it is getting quite nice. I was out, went for a walk in shorts and a t-shirt today, and Marco will probably look at me like I'm crazy through the computer screen because it was 51 degrees. But that's what passes for warm weather out here, and I was quite happy to enjoy it, I have to say.
I mean, at least it's been warmer for you than it has been here in the sunny United Kingdom. I'll say that with a sarcastic tone as well. And I don't even know how it is for Marco actually out in the wonderful lands of Italy, but I can imagine it's nice and warm out there as well, because it always seems to be in sort of mainland Europe. Oh. And as we're hearing, it was windy and miserable.
Just
as apparently he likes it, yep.
Meanwhile, in the race, we've got a battle on track. This is Daniel Fellows, who potentially, and again, this information is not confirmed, but potentially can make it to the end of the race. He is battling with Brian Bruzzi, who has had a bit of a scuffle out there today, as everybody has, but he actually finds himself right back where he started in 5th place, but defending hard from Fellows, which will be good news for Rob Hubrex, trying to make up that gap to Daniel. Just looking now to see if Kenny Schmid still has the fastest lap of the race, and he does, though. We've seen a couple drivers get closer, including Brian Bruzzi, who has done a 2 minutes 4.2. Daniel Fellows, a 2 minutes 4.38. Had been a 2 minutes 4.5, but he just set his quickest lap of the race that time around, and you can see it on your timing screen there. So Fellows putting a hard charge on, but Brian Bruzzi is going to be a tough customer because he has also been pretty rapid. It's a bit weird to see the times all shaken up at the top there. Some of our drivers who are not quite on the pace of the top few have been taking advantage of the opportunities handed to them and find themselves up the grid. So it's been great for Weber, for Kelderman, for Davis, and Walker. They have managed to avoid both the wrecks and the winter storm-related internet troubles, and they are on their way to some solid finishes. But this battle is just heating up as Fellows has gotten alongside Bruzzi, and he has got the inside line into the next corner. Can he be late enough on the brakes? We know Bruzzi's going to give it everything. Oh, no! A little bit of contact there. I thought he was squeezing Bruzzi quite tight. It's tough to see from your perspective in those cars, especially if you don't have, triple screens or a VR setup. But he was fading over a little bit to the left. And, well, it's tough because Brian...
I think he just misjudged it. I think he thought he had a bit more room than he did, or that Bruzzi was a bit further left than he was. I think that was more a case of, I think I've got enough room. And normally with these cars, in most cases, or even more in GT racing, you'd come together like that, you'd sort of bounce off each other a bit and you'd be fine. But in these, it's so sensitive because of the way that the tires are, with obviously wheel-to-wheel contact, that it does just send you basically flying. It's a very, very big shame.
Yeah, Brian definitely was a bit off of the side of the track, so not impossible for Fellows to think he was going to have more room than he did. Presumably, we will see him come down the pit lane because it'd be a bit hard to believe he doesn't have damage from that.
Walker is in, as you say that.
Yeah, I saw a message in the driver chat apologizing from Walker, so not sure if he had a run-in with somebody out there. Fellows, though, has continued on, so evidently his car not too badly damaged from that. And he keeps rolling and moves up into 4th place with Walker's pit stop. Here is Lee making his pit stop. So these will be the drivers who stopped early after being involved in one of the incidents, making their fuel stop for the race. Here is Weber. So Weber has stretched it 20 laps before coming into the pit lane. So a solid effort
that would
there.
actually make you saying that Fellows and Co don't need to come in very accurate, because if Weber's gone 20 laps, which is 40 minutes, I might add, you know, he didn't have to stop. So we'll say, yeah, so we'll say that's 19 laps roughly, if, you know, taking off a lap maybe for the, you know, the formation. That means that he has gone about 40 minutes on fuel. Well, with when, you know, Fellows and Rob came in for their disconnects, if they got a full tank of fuel, they can go to the end quite happily.
Yeah, that's really the question, isn't it? It was not a matter of could they make it to the end from where they stopped. It was just a matter of did their cars get filled to the top when they were stopped. So evidently, given that they have continued on, you wouldn't expect them to be able to go much more than a lap or two longer if they hadn't filled up. So I think that Hubrex is going to be in good shape here. Of course, he's still a couple of minutes behind Von Weber, who has already made his stop. So that's not really going to be a positional opportunity. But with Walker having made his stop, he is all over. Well, Hubrex is all over the back of Walker. He will set him up here and try and get a run onto the back straight. And I got to believe that Rob Hubrex is going to get this job done pretty quickly here, just by virtue of how quick he has been. So that'll be a position for him. He's got Lopez not too far up the road ahead of them. Then it's a bit of a gap to Fellows as well as Davis and Kelderman. Now, has Kelderman made a stop yet? He must have, because he had quite a ways.
Yeah, everyone at the front, I believe, has made a stop now.
Gotcha,
Except,
yep.
I think, Davis.
I am showing Davis stopped at lap 16.
Yeah,
yep.
lap 16. I'll take that back.
The only car out there who has not made a fuel stop that we think is Lopez, who currently sits 5th place. So that'll be a spot for Rob, whether he gets it on track or not, with Lopez having to make a pit stop. Pradhan has also not made his pit stop. Oh, dear. That is trouble for Herring.
Herring.
Yeah, Herring has already had a couple of incidents in this one. Not sure what happened there. It did look like there was another car around him. But I don't see anyone else dropping through the order there. Perhaps Cadence Presley, or was it someone on a different lap? Oh, just ran a bit wide. So I think he was right in there behind Cadence Presley and pushing potentially for an overtake, because that would have been for position, but just ran a bit wide, and now losing track position, but not a spot there, as Sherman is out of this race. Did that just happen? It must have. Okay, so he is having connection issues, is Sherman. But that, if he stays out for long enough, is going to set him quite a ways out of this one. There is Lopez holding on to 5th place. Obviously still has to make his first pit stop. He's done an excellent job saving fuel to get to this point, though. But you could see Rob Hubrex in the background looming large there.
I'm going to do a quick update on that podium fight that we are potentially talking about later, because we know that Davis has stopped. He's quicker than Fellows at the moment, so I think we might not have that fight, but it depends. It's been trading tenths a lap, Tyler, so I don't know. It's going to be very, very tight indeed as we get towards the end of this race, I think, if it does get close. But it also depends on how quick Rob is in the final 20 minutes to this race.
Yeah, on ultimate pace, we know Fellows has just a bit more, but we think he might have some damage from the contact with Brian Bruzzi, so not setting perhaps the lap times he's capable, whereas Jeremy Davis set his best lap of the race that last time around at a 2:05.6, so definitely has the pedal to the metal, does Jeremy Davis. trying to secure that final spot on the podium. And, well, we don't play favorites here, but I'm sure we'd both be happy to see Jeremy Davis secure a podium in the last race of the season, because he has just done such a fantastic job coordinating with us here at Apex Racing TV and organizing this race. So would be excellent to see him wrap it up with a podium finish.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Well, you say that you don't play favorites. I'll happily admit that Jeremy Davis has been my pet favorite this whole season. Of course, I've been obviously, you know, happy with every race has gone so far, and it's just great that, you know, you've always got to admit, Tyler, you've always got to have a little favorite. Come on.
No, I just have preferences, which is different. But
sure.
Jeremy's a great guy, and always great to have him jump in the booth with us, and hopefully we get a chance to talk about his podium after this race is over. But we're doing a lot of talking before the goose is cooked here. And this race is not over yet. There are still 12 minutes on the clock for Jeremy to throw it all away. So hopefully he hangs on to this one. He does seem to be losing just a little bit of time here and there to Kelderman. Meanwhile, Von Weber has just set his quickest lap of the race at a 2:04.6, so he has stepped on it despite having a very comfortable lead out there. But we know Vaughn is crazy fast, so would not be a surprise to see him putting the hammer down despite not really needing to. Definitely wants to show what he's got. Now we do have a new fastest lap of the race. I'll let you guess who that's from, but it's a 2:03.9, which just jumps ahead of what Kenny Schmid had done earlier. It's Rob Hubrex, in case you were.
Oh, I was going to say it was Jeremy Davis. No, I knew it was Hubrex the second you said it. Good to see that Rob is getting some pace back, though, and he's definitely making up some time. I think the slipstream that he's getting from Lopez probably is helping a bit as well.
Potentially, but I also have to believe he'd like to get by Lopez here, knowing that Lopez likely has to stop again, unless he has done some incredible fuel saving here. He's going to have to make a stop. Well, he certainly has done some incredible fuel saving to get it to lap 24. We did not think anyone was going to be able to do that. But he did have a lengthy stop at the start of this race, so he is defending hard from Rob Hubrex, which is fair enough, you know, position's a position, but Rob will be wanting to get by as soon as he can, I have to believe.
Yeah, you never want to be stuck behind someone for more than like 2 laps if you are trying to get past them, so, you know, it's always that mentality of letting you go. But we'll see. I don't doubt that Rob will get past him in the next few laps.
I don't know if we have a track map up, Marco, but I was just looking at Fellows and Davis's time, and they were both off quite a bit, so potentially some traffic for those two. You'd be looking for the numbers 4 and 3. Doesn't look like
so
Fellows
Davis is just coming into the hairpin, and Fellows is not far away. He's only just coming into he's not right. So Davis has just come out of sector 1. Fellows is going into the hairpin before the end of sector 1.
Yeah, I think Davis had some traffic that time with the lapped car of Sherman. But it didn't look like Fellows did, so maybe just struggling with that car, potentially with some damage. Oh, that's always tough when a driver is blinking in front of you. As
it's scary.
Yeah, as Lopez is, but Hubrex has the inside line heading into the hairpin. Hopefully, Lopez cedes that position, and indeed he does. So Hubrex locks up a top 5 as he continues on, but he is going to need probably some help if he's going to close 25 seconds in 9 minutes on Fellows up the road. Here's Brian Bruzzi finally done with his repairs. Does get out in front of Kenny Schmid. Not really in the points battle, but bragging rights for sure. For 14th instead of 15th place. There is Hubrex. As we said, 25 seconds back of Fellows. That's not something you're really going to do in 9 minutes without help. There's a car off the track. Who is that? That is Collins. He has had a few of those today, I think, but he gets back on it. Weber has set another personal best for him, a 2:04.3, which is really only a few tenths off of Rob Huebrecht's fastest lap of the race. So Von Weber not backing down despite a comfortable lead. He wants to show what sort of lap times he can do, and he is lighting the timing stand up right now. No purple sectors that I can see on that last lap, but a couple of green ones. So definitely the pace in that car right now as the fuel gets low for Von Weber. He has a 44-second gap over Ezra Kelderman. And I feel like we haven't mentioned Kelderman all that much, one of our new drivers to the series for this final race. But, you know, has avoided the trouble, and really, that's what everybody else was unable to do today. Obviously, some of that trouble was network related and not of their doing, but still a solid effort by Kelderman to keep that car clean and hold on to second place at the moment. And a pretty comfortable gap as well over Jeremy Davis in third. So Davis has been putting in good laps, but so is Kelderman. That lap, Davis closed maybe half a second, which is not going to get the job done. They did both set their fastest lap of the race that time, did Kelderman and Davis. Now, has something happened again to Brian Brutz? Yes, it has. Just a spin. He was just out of pit lane, so potentially that's just cold tires there catching Brian out. No damage, though, and he gets the car back going.
Always marvellous to see when they get it going. Meanwhile, we're currently having a look at Weber, our race leader, the number 11, as he catches up to traffic now. He's probably going to get sick and tired of seeing traffic by the end of this race.
Yes, absolutely. I think he has probably been in the thick of it, especially after his pit lane start. He had to work through the chaos that unfolded on lap number 1. So Von's done a great job to just keep his nose clean and maintain position there. Obviously, you know, a little bit of luck plays into it, but you just have to be the quickest to the cars that have the luck, and that's what he has been by a substantial margin. So Vaughn has done a really excellent job. There's Jeremy Davis holding on to that third podium position and not really under threat from Daniel Fellow. They've been pretty much matching lap times as Bruzzi has some more trouble running into the runoff. Not sure what corner that's at. Oh, he's had some contact with Cadence Presley, potentially. And Cadence is reset to the pit lane.
Oh, no.
So what happened here? Bruzzi is ahead of Cadence. Looked like he was pulling over to let Cadence go, potentially. Certainly he was. Ooh!
Oh, netcode into the back of him as well.
Wow. I'm not sure it was netcode. I think.
No, there wasn't contact there. There wasn't contact there. Even I could see that.
You know, I think Brian expected Cadence to brake a little bit later. He was just trying to get back onto the racing line for that corner after letting him through. But Cadence got on the brakes early. Yeah, there was a small gap, but his right front got awful close to Cadence's left rear. Just a misjudgment there from Brian as he was trying to let Cadence through. But here is Rob Huebrecht, who just set another fastest lap of the race at a 2:03.86. He doesn't really need to do anything to win the championship. He's in pretty comfortable position right now. Obviously, I'm sure he would have liked to have won this race, but he is showing what he is capable of with some really quick laps here. That is a fair bit clear now, a tenth and a bit over Kenny Schmid's 2:03.989. So Rob just saying, you know, even if it hadn't been for the chaos at the start, I'm still quicker than Kenny. And that's really the point I think he's trying to make here. You know,
satisfaction.
I mean, you know, it's not like the championship would have been in question. Rob has been dominant all season and really, really rapid. So certainly earned his championship. But when luck strikes, it's nice to go out and prove that, you know, it's not it's not luck that was the determining factor here. Excuse me, that's Von Weber. A lot of black cars in this race, which is a bit unusual, but Von Weber working on some lap traffic. I think that is the 20 of Suraj Pradon, and he will tuck to the inside into sunset. And it truly is sunset right now as the sun is quickly setting, and it's a good thing this is only an hour race because it would get dark. Oh, that was Kenny Schmid spinning in the background.
Kenny.
Kenny's race already pretty much over, but goes for a bit of a spin there.
No, Marco, Marco, don't rub it in. Come on.
He could have done it in slow motion too, which would really rubbing salt. There it is.
Marco Barbanero rubbing salt in the wounds.
Kenny's a good guy, and I'm sure he'll watch it back and laugh.
He'll laugh. He'll probably like message one of us to go, hey, did you guys catch my spin later on the rest? Say, yeah, definitely did.
We certainly did. Got it in beautiful slow. I mean,
you totally didn't get it in slow motion. So. No.
I just pulled the stream up to look at some of the comments, and that is a really artistic shot of Kenny spinning in slow motion. So really excellent camera work, as always, from the great Marco Barbanero. So,
and here we have Ode to Kenny Spin. Beautiful painting. Not long to go. I think only one lap to go.
Yes, I believe.
I think this is actually the final lap now. I believe. No,
yeah.
Okay. I misplaced where Vaughn was on second.
Yeah, he's just working his way towards the backstretch now. So definitely going to pick up one more lap after this one. But with 45 seconds, the margin out the back, I think Von Weber can be pretty comfortable sitting in there with the gap that he has.
He could probably come to the pits, make a cup of tea, and then go out again and still be in the lead by about 20 seconds.
Oh no! What you do is you come into the pits, do the driver swap you were planning, and have
actually, yeah, that's a point. Mike, get in the car.
Take all the glory as the crossing the line.
I'd laugh if he actually does that. Aww. Oh, white flag indeed, Tyler.
I think Mike would probably have to drag Vaughn out of that seat with the show he's put on today. He'll be grinning from ear to ear, as he has had just a fantastic effort in the lead of this race. And we are on the white flag lap, as has been confirmed by Marco and Alex, as Vaughn sails it into turn number 2. Just looking to see if there's any potential for changing the championship standings, and I don't think there is. All Rob Rex is going to need to do is... Actually, he doesn't even need to finish this lap because of the gap he has over Davis and Kenny Schmid. So you can pretty comfortably declare Rob Rex is going to be your championship winner ahead of Kenny Schmid and Jeremy Davis. So excellent performance all season from Rob Rex. Hopefully he will jump in the booth to talk to us afterwards.
I mean, at least I can say that he didn't win this race. He's been dethroned again. By luck, definitely, but...
by the powers that be.
By the powers of Mother Nature. At the end of the day, he's done an amazing job all season long. Been absolutely... Well, I was going to say absolutely untouchable, but then again, Alton Park did happen, so...
Indeed it did, yes. It was, he was just a bit touchable that day by Kenny Schmid, but still.
No, apart from that, it has been a flawless season for our Rob Rex, and great to see him have such a good season and coming to be there. Oh! Who is that off in the background? Is that actually Kenny?
I didn't catch that, but evidently you did.
I caught
Kenny Schmid having some trouble in the back
of the shot and saw who it was.
But Von Weber is your race winner, and we will carry the shot across the line. An excellent performance out there from Vaughn today, saying, hey Dad, I don't need you to drive because I got it covered. And he certainly did. So Vaughn will definitely have bragging rights at the dinner table there tonight. Here is Ezra Kelderman, who looks comfortably ahead, about 10 seconds up the road from Jeremy Davis. And in his debut performance, is going to come home with a podium finish. So an excellent job from Ezra. I'll let him get through Sunset first because we've seen some drivers have trouble there, but
Don't
he,
curse him now.
he navigates it beautifully and will come home in second place on the second step of the podium, and Jeremy Davis just has to do the same, and it looks like he has, so good on
He's
Jeremy.
gonna get a podium.
Indeed he did. He needed a little bit of luck to help him out today, but Jeremy Davis weaving joyfully with the podium, and here is your provisional championship winner, Rob Hubrex, working his way down the backstretch now. Fellows will come home in fourth ahead of him, but we're going to ride on board with Rob as he comes around Sunset, heads towards the checkered flag and the championship in the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series. Weaving all the way. Congratulations to Rob. Fantastic effort. And
great job by Rob to win the title here on the inaugural season of the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series. And Kenny Schmid is this the replay, Marco? And da 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 dum dun 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 around he goes.
I see Kenny's already eager to talk to us. So
I might go and hide.
Well, we'll get the winners in first.
We need to get the winners in, and then we need to definitely get the championship guys in as well.
Hopefully we have
fair.
time to talk to Kenny. We will get the results up for you once everyone has crossed the line, and there they are. So Vaughn Weber is your race winner. 44 seconds up the road from Ezra Kelderman. Jeremy Davis comes home in third. Rounding out your podium, Daniel Fellows recovers to fourth after his internet disconnected. Rob Hubrex to fifth after his disconnect from the race lead. Seeing Rob do some donuts on the screen in the background to celebrate his championship. He's, I think, perfectly happy with a fifth place there today. Daniel Lopez comes home in sixth ahead of Brandon Walker, and you can safely assume from here on out everybody either was involved in at least one incident or had some internet troubles. So Brandon Walker in seventh, Seth Lee in eighth, Suraj Pradhan in ninth, Michael Herring in 10th, Mark Sherman comes home 11th, Brian Bruzzi 12th, Cadence Presley 13th, Kenny Schmid in 14th, Mike James 15th, Zach Peterson in 16th, Jim McKendry 17th, John Collins in 18th, Armand Gavorki in 19th, Roman Bykov 20th, Man Cave Berggren in 21st, Dave Santel from a great starting position, unfortunately, comes home 22nd, and Rob Holubar in 23rd. Now, let's see who we have in our interview waiting area.
Kenny and Rob and Weber, and that'll be Vaughn or Weber. So
yep,
I think it might be ready to get Vaughn in first.
Yes, let us grab our race winner first of all. Vaughn Weber, are you with us?
Yeah.
Well, Vaughn, congratulations on a dominant performance out there. You needed a little bit of luck to go your way, but you know, we were told by Jeremy before the race that you were going to be splitting it with your dad, and then they told us in the middle of the race that it was going to be all you because you are crazy fast, and well, you certainly proved it out there today, didn't you?
Well, I feel like I had good pace, and it was just super lucky because I noticed like everybody but like 4 people got disconnected mid-race, and so I think I ended up with like a minute lead. And it was just kind of a weird race in general, but yeah, my dad decided to not race at the last second. He wanted it to be me. He said he thought he'd wreck the car pretty much.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, at the end of the day, so I was going to say, at the end of the day, it's always the weird ones that you win, though, isn't it? It's always the ones that happen in the weirdest of circumstances that you take home. So, you know, you can always be proud of that.
And certainly, had he wrecked the car, he wouldn't have been alone in that camp. I think just about everybody was involved in something or other out there today. But yeah, we were speculating he might. Your lead was so big, you might be able to come down pit road and have him jump in and cross the finish line first and take all the glory away. But it certainly seemed like you were not slowing down once you were awarded that big lead, setting some really quick lap times out there. Do you think had things shaken out differently, where do you think your pace would have put you?
if not everybody had a problem. Like I know Rob had his wheelbase fail and stuff like that. I feel like I probably would have finished like fourth, maybe third, because before everybody got disconnected, I was running third, I believe. Because I got to avoid big wrecks, because something weird happened in the beginning. It's like I popped the chain almost. I couldn't get any power in, so I just pulled off, and started from the pits, and it allowed me to avoid all the wrecks.
Well, you certainly did a good job of that. What? Obviously, you haven't run the full season, and your dad has run some races as well. But what's been your impressions, your takeaway from the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series?
I think I mean, I love it because, especially, well, it offers you like more competitive racing, especially now because we've been in week 13 and all of that is just chaos. So it was really nice to get a break and race competitively, pretty much.
Yeah, awesome. And race competitively, you did an excellent performance out there. Vaughn, do you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Definitely my dad for like obviously the whole sim rig and then also him pulling out at the last minute because he wanted me to win. So yeah, that'd be pretty much it. And you guys for broadcasting.
Oh, well, thank you, Vaughn, and fantastic, excellent drive out there today. You really put on a show. So congratulations, and hopefully we get to see you in some other iRacing events in the future.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Right.
And
Who's
Alex?
doing Jeremy?
Well, I am going to first pull in our championship winner for you to talk to, Alex. Rob Hurex.
Hey guys.
Rob, it somehow didn't happen. You didn't win a race. I'm confused. How? Why? What went wrong?
So I'm not really sure, but I had I got out to a big lead, as you guys saw, obviously, and it was feeling like one of those early season races where I was just kind of running away with it, and then I had a hardware failure. My wheelbase crashed, so iRacing suddenly froze up, and I said a lot of swear words. Had to disconnect, but somehow I was able to get reconnected quickly enough and get my equipment restarted fast enough. I didn't go a lap down, and iRacing was nice enough to top me off on fuel and give me new tires when that happened, I guess. So
yeah.
So I didn't have to make another pit stop, and then I just kind of raced my way back to 5th place. So I think, all things considered, considering the technical issue, that was probably a pretty good result.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were speculating what happened because we thought it was due to the storm. We thought it was due to, other things. And then obviously, as Vaughn just said, hardware failure and iRacing being so lovely to basically gift you some free fuel. It must always feel quite nice when iRacing actually does something nice for once, instead of trying to screw you over in every way, shape, and form as it does. But yeah, I saw with how far Vaughn had gone into the race, I didn't think you'd need to stop again after you came out of the pit. So great to see that you did manage to recover your way back to 5th at least.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we had a lot of disconnects due to the storm. I actually had 2 internet issues earlier today, so I had that in the back of my mind, and then it wasn't that actually caught me out. So just a weird race. I will say we as of now, I guess I've won the championship. However, that's actually kind of TBD at this point. We don't know what we're going to actually do with this race because there were so many disconnects. So I guess stay tuned. But if it ends here, then I'm your 2021 point karting winner, iRacing Challenge champion. So
I mean, even if they do scrub this race, you've still won the championship. I don't think there's any way in doubt that you haven't, Fergus. But of course, it has been an amazing season regardless, and it's been amazing seeing how dominant you've been and how untouchable you've been outside of the couple of events, Alton Park to name one of them. But yeah, it's been an amazing season to have you with us. And obviously, is there anyone you'd like to thank at all?
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to thank Point Karting for the support. Obviously, they're on the side of my car. They sponsor this series. Great to have them on board. Thank you to you guys for doing these broadcasts. It's always great to have these available for our friends and family to watch. And thank you to Kenny. I mean, he's been a great competitor. It was kind of close between us in the championship, given the drop races that we have. So, he's fantastic competitor. It looks like he didn't have quite as much luck as I did today, but he's a fast guy, and I like racing against him.
Oh, thank you very much, Rob, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in the championship, and of course, to end the year, you are obviously the champion. I think even if they do drop this race, you would be the champion regardless. So congratulations to our 2021 Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series champion, Rob Hebrex.
Thank you.
Mr. Newitz. Who do we bring in next? We have two options of who we bring in next.
I'm gonna save Jeremy for last, just so he can give some closing thoughts on the series. Even though he probably, with his podium finish, deserved to go in before Kenny Schmid, who had a bit of a worse day. But Kenny, wasn't your day? Is that a fair summation of your 60 minutes of Sebring?
That's a fair summation. Fair summation. I had more pace in qualifying. My banker lap was too slow, and then I didn't push hard enough on my fast lap, which is a little disappointing because I think I could have avoided some of that carnage. If I had swapped places with Rob and kind of was able to get the jump and get out in front of the pack. But that's racing. That's how it goes. And Rob finished in front of me. Jeremy finished in front of me. So I know there was some discussion because I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think like half the field dropped out, had like connection problems. Did you guys see that, or was that your
Yes,
thoughts?
we were aware.
Yes, we definitely saw it.
Okay. We it's funny because 3 of the 5 members of kind of the board for this iRacing league is me, Jeremy, and Rob. And Jeremy likes the race, because he finished in 3rd, and I'm sure Rob likes the race because it would get him. And I'm sure that I could find an excuse to vote for redoing the race. So it'll be interesting. We've all got to get together, and we might have to even pull in some other people. But I'm curious because you guys have been asking me questions all year, but I've got one for you because you guys also, do race control and steward, and you've been around races all the time. So in a situation like this, you've got like half the field that falls out. What would you guys do in a league that you guys are running?
Personally, I'll let Tyler do it first as him, and then I'll bring my idea in. Actually,
Well, it's tough to say. I would have said in a race where it's likely not going to have significant championship consequences. Not to discount your performance all season, Kenny, but you were a decent amount behind Rob. I would have probably just let it go, especially since the race was finished. Sometimes what I've seen done in other leagues that I've been a part of is they'll kind of stop the race when all that happens, just kind of pull all the drivers down pit lane. But that's also tough to do because not everyone's on voice chat, or not everyone. Some people have chat muted. So if I were running things, which I certainly am not, I would have likely said, since we didn't do anything during the race, we let it play out. Just let it stand and move on to the future.
Sure, very, very reasonable. Alex?
This is where I went in. Right. So, coming from someone that's had to deal with this a lot, personally, with the way that it was with the championship still being a potential decider, things could have played differently had, you not gotten into those issues at T1, had, Rob not gotten into those issues with his hardware, had Jeremy binned it, had the other guys not had the issues they had, it could have shaken the order up and everything. When those mass disconnections happened, I would have read it, I would have basically halted the race. I would have gone, right, we need to sort out what the hell is going on, we need to find out what's going on, and we need to basically plan for what's going on. I would have readied that race. As you didn't, the race continued, and the results are what they are. But I still would think that potentially even just bringing it up with the rest of the field and go, hey, look, this is what happened. What are your opinions on it? And let everyone have a say. Let everyone in the race have a say. Because again, everyone's going to have differing opinions. And considering the three of the admins, or the board of directors, sorry, are, well, let's say one had a disconnect, ended up 5th. You had, well, I would say an accident, but I think multiple accidents is the way to call the race today.
Quite a few, yeah.
All of which caught on stream.
I wouldn't expect that less from Marco.
And all of them, and one of them actually ending up 3rd because for once he didn't get caught up in any instance or have any of his own. I think it might just be an idea just to sort of open it up to the whole community and just say, hey, look, this is what happened. What would you guys think about us, either nullifying the results or coming back again and doing it later or something, along those lines. I wouldn't say like that what was done at this time was wrong, but I'd say maybe just open forum it and see what people would do, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones racing, and it's all you guys' choice as to whether you completely ignore the race or redo it.
Yeah, and that's a really good idea. I'm sure we're going to reach out to everyone and see what they do. Rob, as far as I'm concerned, earned it 100% tonight. Anyways, I had the accident turn 1, then I had another, or not turn 1, carousel, then I had another accident at the carousel. And so, it wasn't my night anyways. He had the problems he had, fought his way all the way back to 5th. What I'm interested to know is after the points and stuff, because Jeremy got 3rd, and this is a double points race, and I got 14
yeah,
or something. He might have just jumped me tonight for 2nd place. So look, whether we redo tonight or not, I had a fantastic time this season, and Rob deserves this kind of anyways. I didn't have anything for him tonight. And actually it was really nice. Brian Brucci actually sent me a message and apologized for that hit in the carousel anyways, which was nice to get, but I told him no problem, it's just racing. Whether the championship's on the line or not, people want to win a race and you want to race somebody. So, regardless, I had a good time. I still got out there and I tried to finish my laps until I crashed again, on the final lap. But yeah, it was a great season overall, and, Rob deserves it anyways. Kind of congrats to Rob. And hey, if Jeremy jumped me for P2, that was a phenomenal drive from Jeremy today. So, just because maybe I had a rough day doesn't mean other people didn't. And, the same thing with Vaughn. Vaughn stinking won the race. Big congratulations to him. And so, nothing should be taken away from that regardless. It was still a race and everyone gave it their all, and we all came where we came. So, congratulations to Vaughn, Jeremy, Rob, Daniel, Ezra, everybody.
Well, awesome, Kenny, and it's been an excellent season to call, and I know you probably would have liked to maybe have a couple more wins in there, but ultimately that's how the cookie crumbles, as they say. Do you have anyone else you'd like to go? I know you just gave all your shout-outs, but anyone else you'd like to give a shout-out to before we let you go?
Yeah, mainly just the Colorado Karting Tour, Forward Direction Motorsports, and Greg Welch, along with W2W Racing and Mark Martin, and the World Racing League.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great calling your races this season, Kenny, and hopefully we get to see you further on down the road. But for now, congratulations on a solid season, Kenny Schmid.
Thanks, guys.
Last but by no means least.
I'll let you take it, Alex.
Jeremy!
Howdy, howdy.
Well, it finally happened. It only took a whole season, but it finally happened.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. It was very, very strange and weird circumstances and very, very crazy to be honest with you. But hey, I got a 3rd place. It was kind of like my my race at Bathurst where we finished 12th. Rob, Danny, and I, and it kind of brought me back to that a little bit.
Hey, it's always the weird ones that you do well in. As I've maintained, it's always been the weird races I've done well in. It always seems to be the weird races that everyone else does, really well in. So, you can't knock that at all. It was a race, and you did really, really well to come home 3rd, because you didn't make a single mistake that whole race. This isn't the Jeremy I'm used to. I'm usually used to you being caught up by other people or something going wrong. I mean, something was up today, Jeremy. Have you eaten something different for breakfast? Have you done more laps of practice? Did you get on a different side of the bed? What did you do today, man?
Actually, well, there was a couple things. I actually fixed an issue with my rig. It was actually coming apart, which was very scary. It was actually, I found it in my last 6-hour race that I did last week, and then fixed that. And then I also fixed some stuttering issues here recently, and both of those seem to have helped me focus a little bit better, and was able to pull out a one incident just off track, I think, if I remember correctly. I must have got some ghost damage because I actually was slow in the first part of that race. But the second part, after coming out of the pits with that free repair, I was able to get some lap times in. So I don't know what was going on with that.
We caught your pit stop, and you could see your front wing get repaired. So you evidently had some front wing damage that you picked up from somewhere, maybe just from debris from that turn 1 incident. But yeah, that's what that was.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense because I was having problems turning in. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So Jeremy, what you're telling me is, if you'd fixed your rig at the start of the season, you'd have been in more contention for the title fight.
Maybe. We'll just say no, just because I might upset my teammates. Because yeah, I think that has been going on since the start of that season too.
Oh, you've
So,
done
yeah,
a great job
sorry.
for it nonetheless. You've done a great job nonetheless, though, Jeremy. Especially, to potentially even take second, dependent on the results from this race. It's not a bad shout, but from you at all to finish where you finished, and I think you can definitely be happy with this season. And speaking of that, how have you felt this first season? Has gone, especially considering circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, really, the season as a whole has gone off pretty well. We've got some great viewership from the broadcasts and that sort of thing. So I want to thank you guys very much for that. We're actually going to be picking up the partnership a little bit more with CKT, the club, to get more involvement and that sort of thing. We actually brought in some people from RM Solo to come out here, and everything. And so it is definitely growing. We had our biggest field today. Unfortunately, we had some incidents and that sort of thing, which happens with new people coming into the field. But we'll definitely have to review this one to see what happens with it. But other than that, the season was great, and I can't wait for next season. It's going to be a blast.
So there is going to be a next season. Interesting. We know you were alluding to this throughout the previous races, so it's great to know that that it's definitely going to be happening again at the end of this year. I was going to say the end of next year, but then I realised we're already in 21. Yep,
exactly. Yeah, we're actually talking a little bit better partnership with CKT and that sort of thing, and going to really go hard for next season. So we'll have a lot more communications throughout the karting season and that sort of thing with new updates and that sort of stuff.
Ooh, can't wait to see it and can't wait to hear it, Jeremy. And of course, we look ahead into the real life series. Of course, you guys looking forward to getting back out on the real tracks with each other, or?
Oh yeah, man, we definitely are. I personally might be taking another year gap year just because of work and that sort of stuff. But I'm planning on coming back to the karting because I definitely miss it. Right now we're pretty much under 2 feet of snow. It looks like at the moment we had a fair bit of a blizzard come through, so we're pretty snowed in at the moment. But yeah, once that clears away, I think we'll definitely be out there.
Is there anyone that you want to thank at all, Jeremy?
I just want to
over to the ever thankful Tyler.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody that showed up for the races. We had a blast. I hope you guys show up for the next season. I want to thank everybody that has watched the broadcast. Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. I want to thank Colorado Karting Tour for their support. Specifically, I want to definitely thank Mike Weber and Eric Gunderson for their assistance with helping me set it up with the club and that sort of thing. So I want to thank you guys specifically for that. Very much appreciated. And I just want to thank you guys for everything. And just to give a little hint, we might be going to a GT car next year.
Oh, thank God. Finally, something I know what I can talk about.
Music to Alex's ears, Jeremy. But thank you so much for letting us be a part of it and putting on an awesome series. It's been really great fun, and hopefully we do get to see you out next time. And of course, congratulations once again on your podium finish out there tonight.
Thanks a lot. I very much appreciate it. And yeah, this race will definitely be under question at the moment, but we'll see what happens.
Well, either way, you still drove a solid effort out there today, and hopefully we see you later on in the future. Thanks again, Jeremy Davis.
Take it easy. Thanks.
And that wraps it up for tonight and for the season for the Colorado Karting Tour. As you heard, still obviously plans a bit up in the air since we have to wait till their next off season before getting any more racing in the virtual world. But really, I have absolutely enjoyed calling this season. I know you have as well, Alex. It's been a blast. Unfortunate the number of issues today, but as Jeremy said, when you get some new drivers to the series, it's a bit inevitable. And when you get that many cars running around Sebring, it can be a bit chaotic. But certainly enjoyed calling the race today. Congratulations again to Von Weber on his win, and congratulations to Rob Hubrex, the presumed champion. We'll wait, of course, till everything is official to declare that officially, but for all intents and purposes, Rob Hubrex is your Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series champion. So congratulations to him. That's all I have for you. Any final words before we close off this series, Alex?
Just want to say it's been a pleasure, Tyler, as it always is.
Well, excellent. And thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in on Apex Racing TV on all the Colorado Karting Tour channels. Thanks, of course, to Marco Barbonera for running production for this series, as he always does. He does an excellent job. And we look forward to seeing you next time on whatever we have here on Apex Racing TV. So long and good night.